What's good, guys? My name's Jonathan, my boy Hervé and Daniel.
Yep.
Hi.
This is Eye of the Storm. We're back again. I think we got 5 subscribers. I think it's still on 4. So hello to all the 4 subscribers. Hopefully, you enjoyed this episode. But we'll come in a bit different with this one. Today we'll be discussing on an important question, which is why review movies. Does anyone want to start their point of view?
So I've really got 2 reasons. The first one is that I just get more enjoyment out of a story if I figure out why it worked or it didn't work. So if a movie works for me, I can get even more out of it by knowing what worked about it and why. And if it didn't work, then you can take it apart, do an autopsy, and try to figure out, okay, why didn't it work? What would it have taken for it to make it work? And that's interesting too. And there are movies where I've gotten years of enjoyment out of trying to figure out how they could have been fixed, or how they could have been different, or why they didn't work. And that's just an interesting topic to me. Second one is that we are right now in an age where, especially with streaming, where there's so much stuff that it's basically impossible to know about everything and to have seen everything or even know what you're supposed to watch. Like it's like sometimes I will find out that there's a show that ran for 3 or 4 seasons and that I probably would have liked, but I'd never heard of it because it's buried on some streaming service somewhere. And I think in that kind of environment, it's more important than ever for the good stuff to get recommended and for people to have a realistic view of, or a realistic understanding of what a movie's about and what shows or movies they would like.
Question. So aren't you concerned about spoilers? Doesn't that ruin your experience when you see a review and then it pretty much reveals everything that happens about the film?
So my take is that the premise can't be a spoiler. Right? So if you just say, okay, this is the basic idea of what the story is about, to me that can't be a spoiler really. Like a spoiler is the ending or a twist or something.
Most movie reviews include the ending.
Yeah, it's tricky, right? I think you have to make a judgment on what is a spoiler in a particular case and what isn't. But I think spoilers in general have gotten out of hand. Like people consider even the premise to be a spoiler, or even like the first scene in my view, if it's in the trailer, it's not a spoiler, and if it's part of the premise, then it's not a spoiler. So I think you kind of have to separate it out and judge in each case separately. Okay, what's part of the premise and what's part of the punchline, so to speak.
I agree.
Sorry, I was going to say, and just to add to that as well, I feel like the role of actually a good trailer is to give you an understanding as to what the movie's about and what to expect in the movie as well, without revealing the full story about the movie. So you can watch a non-spoiler review about a film just to get a sense as to, like Daniel mentioned, there's an abundance of movies, TV shows being made at the moment. So even if you wanted just to get a little bit of a sense as to what to expect before maybe returning for a spoiler discussion on the movie, then why not?
I agree, but my only concern with movie reviews, by the way, guys, I do think movie reviews are necessary. I do like movie reviews, but I'm just playing, these advocate right here. My only concern with movie reviews is that it determines the watcher's view on the film before even watching it. Mm-hmm. For example, let's say there's a popular movie reviewer and he says this movie's rubbish. Now, a lot of the times people are going to hear that and be like, okay, they're already going to go in there with a negative perception of what the film's going to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Rather than actually sitting there not knowing what the hell's going to happen and just taking it in and then come to their own conclusion. So what would you say to that?
But I feel like if you watch specific movie reviewers, if there's a certain person that you watch, typically it's because either your opinion usually aligns with them. So like if they typically like a movie, usually you would like as well. And if they hate a movie, then you're likely to not like the movie as well. Or you have it the flip side where you might watch a movie reviewer because they dislike everything that you like, and you just want to go in there and, you know, just kind of butt heads and, you know, try to argue why the movie's actually good when it's not. So I feel in that sense, you know, if you're going in there because you typically trust, and that's why you have like things like movie critics, that's why you have like food critics and stuff like that, because, you know, you tend to trust these people's opinion on sort of certain things before, you know, going in and spending your money on, you know, when you go into the cinema, you can spend easily 20, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. So you want that opinion before going in there.
Okay. And there are the average quality of movies, especially in recent years, I think is low enough that you can't just go in blindly and based on what sounds interesting. Not to mention that sometimes the trailers will just outright not tell you what the movie is about, or will frame it differently, and then I've had that in the couple of times in the last few months where I thought the movie was about one thing because everybody said it was and because the trailer said it was, and then it turned out to be a completely different story. So yeah, I think that's really important.
But sometimes that does work though. I keep mentioning Barbarian. You guys really need to go and watch it to see what I'm talking about, because Barbarian gives you a totally, completely different story from what you see. Well, not too different, but it introduces you to a kind of new plot that you weren't expecting from the trailer, and it does work sometimes. But I do agree with you, because the trailer kind of is like false advertisement a lot of the times.
I mean, the trailer's there to sell you the movie, like whatever, any way they can, whatever they think's, you know, going to sell the movie, they'll put in the trailer. Whereas if you've got a movie reviewer, or you're sort of kind of watching a movie review, again, hopefully you're watching someone that's unbiased in their opinion, so that, you know, you have, you know, their opinion holds a little bit more weight than sort of watching a trailer as well.
And I think it's also possible to be fair and biased, where you say, okay, I have these biases, and based on them, I judge this movie. And by telling you what my biases are, I like this kind of movie, or I dislike that performer, or whatever, then you can compare your biases to the reviewer's biases and see how they overlap. And if this person liked that movie, maybe you're likely to dislike it, for example. So that all goes into the process of building your expectations for something. And I think building expectations is really important, both for trailers and for reviews, where I think movies succeed when they find their audience. And like you said, Hervé, the most trailers just try to get as many people as possible to buy a ticket, as opposed to trying to make it easy for the movie's audience to find the movie. And that's where independent reviewers really jump in.
Well, for me personally, the reason why I do think movie reviews are necessary, even though, you know, I was going at it with you guys on, you know, the other side of the pond. But the reason why I like movie reviews, I think like it's necessary, it helps you discover the nuances. And once you've discovered that, and when it allows you to watch the film again and then appreciate it more, and then actually end up enjoying the film, you know what I'm saying? Especially like with Night Swim. If you guys haven't seen that movie review that we've done, go and watch it. But yeah, even with that, there was like a scene which Daniel spotted, which me and Hervey didn't spot, about the pool scene and the significance of that, and how it played to actually pretty much the whole storyline. So I was like, oh, okay. Because at first I was like, okay, I didn't really pay attention to that. I just thought the film just wasn't for me. But then obviously when Daniel mentioned, I was like, okay, now I can kind of appreciate what was being shown to us a bit more. Even though I still didn't really fully enjoy this film, I enjoyed it better. You know what I'm saying? I looked at it differently. So I do think movie reviews do help you see things that you wouldn't have saw before watching the film.
Yeah, different people can get very different takeaways from the same movie. And comparing that can be really interesting.
Yeah. And that was going to be my point as well, is that, you know, it just creates interesting discussions as well, you know, in terms of like you mentioned, someone might have sort of interpreted this particular scene different to, you know, the way that you did. Someone might have like maybe spotted something that you hadn't picked up in the movie. It just creates interesting discussions and debates. Sometimes not always healthy, you know. Sometimes you get the extremes on Twitter and things like that, where, you know, they're just like kind of gunning you down if you have a different opinion to them. But for the most part, you know, as long as it's a healthy kind of sort of discussion or sort of debate and things like that, then, you know, I feel that's a positive of it as well.
But that's actually kind of a good point that you mentioned, which kind of leads into a new question, are movie reviews healthy? terms of its as in like for the film industry. Because think about it, right? This, I don't know if you guys know Arsenal Fan TV.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, do you know of Arsenal Fan TV?
No, I don't.
So basically, it's what are they, like a fandom? But basically, they're Arsenal football fans. Straight after a football game, they'll give their opinions on the game. Literally, that's what it is, right? So they were scrutinized a lot for their negativity and then portraying that on social media, saying that's impacting. Obviously, that's, you know, it just is negative towards the club. It's not needed. So could you say the same thing for movie reviews? As in, because a lot of the times, even though I remember there was one guy called Chris something, I forgot his name, but he's like a famous movie reviewer, right? And he decided one day to stop doing like being negative about films. Like he pretty much said the films that he didn't like, he's just not going to do reviews to, because he felt like it was unhealthy. He just felt it wasn't helping himself as well as the industry. So yeah, I get 100% movie review can help. You know, it allows you the space to say your opinion and, you know, help other people, you know, aid them in whether or not they're going to watch the film or not. But a lot of the times people use movie reviews as an opportunity to just gun down movies and slate movies for whatever reason I do not know.
Yeah.
So could you argue and say that, you know what, yeah, cool, movie reviews can be good at times, but most people use movie reviews as an opportunity just to, you know, gun down films, because nowadays that's what's getting the views. The reviewers that are pretty much disrespecting the hell out of films.
So I've got two opinions on that. You know, you get some people that are like extremists that sort of maybe tie too much of their identity to a particular film, and you normally get it in the franchises that have like big fandoms, like, you know, your Star Wars and your the Marvels and stuff like that. People that like grew up on these franchises, and it's like, you know, so much about their personality. So anytime you say something against the movie or against the franchise, it feels like you're personally attacking them. So I feel like, you know, people like that are completely unhealthy. You know, your general movie critic that's just doing a general sort of movie review, and if they feel that the movie's bad and they're putting across the reasons why the movie's bad in kind of a little bit of a respectful way, I don't see the problem in that, because how are you meant to like grow? How are you meant to understand the things that you're doing wrong if people are not giving you the negatives of the movie, if people are not letting you know what they didn't enjoy about the movie? So for example, you've got the Marvel Universe at the moment, the current state that it's in. Like, we're literally only getting one movie this year, which is Deadpool. And the reason for that is that they've been putting out mediocre movie after mediocre movie after terrible movie, maybe the odd one here. So they've been getting, you know, a lot of negative reviews, and that's led to them actually having to rethink their strategy, having to rethink their movies, having to do a lot of reshoots and things like that to then improve the quality of the product that they're giving us. So at the end of the day, if we're being served terrible movies, then it's only beneficial to point out that the movies are terrible, so that in future we get better product from the sort of film studios.
Yeah, I think good movies deserve to succeed and be profitable, but bad movies deserve to fail and be criticized. And that whole sorting mechanism benefits everybody except for the people who made the bad movie. And I think that's really the main purpose of reviews.
Yeah. Because you get those, you know, movies where they phone it in, you know, it's just a quick payday, especially the ones where they're trying to revive an old IP or something. Those I hate the most, where, you know, they've gone and dug up an IP, a movie that came out 20, 30 years ago. They want to feed off the nostalgia. They don't put the effort into actually making a good movie. They just kind of want to make something quick so they can make a quick buck. We don't want that. Like,
that can still lead to a good movie if somebody had a good idea and put in the effort, and I think that still gets to be rewarded. I think people throw away cash grab or cash in a bit quickly. Mm-hmm. What I really care about is the final product. Does it work in the end? And you know, everything you've ever enjoyed was made with a profit motive, including, you know, your favorite movie and your favorite book and TV show. The question is, did the end result actually work for you, and did it really enrich somebody's life?
Thanks, guys. But wait, I did not know. Did Marvel's only dropping one movie this year?
Deadpool. Yep. That's it.
Seriously,
just Deadpool. Everything else has been pushed. They've got like a TV
that was meant to come out this year.
Do you know what? The slate's changed so much that I don't even know when stuff was meant to come out. Because you had things like Captain America, the new one, the New World Order that was meant to come out. You had things like Thunderbolts as well. There was a few movies that have been moved around. You got Blade that can't sort of get out of production.
Oh yeah, Blade. Yeah, I've seen that. That's been pushed
as
back
well. Yeah, that's been pushed back a lot.
I'm looking forward to that one though.
We'll see what they do with it. I mean, if it's at least they're reworking the writing. Like that's what I can give it. Like they're reworking the writing and they're putting in the effort to try and make a better movie. Whether it succeeds or not, another question.
Okay. Well, guys, if anyone's got their last sense that they want to add in.
This is the kind of this video is kind of an experiment where, in addition to the regular review, we want to do like a short discussion of some topic that came up and that seems interesting to us. So if you want to see more of these, go ahead and feel free to suggest some. And yeah, these are going to come out in addition to the regular reviews.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And also we got the Beekeeper coming out on Thursday. By the time you see it, it'll be sort of coming out on Thursday. So make sure to tune into that as well to see our thoughts on that. Because I have opinions. I have strong opinions.
Yes.
It's the best kind.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. And we'll see you next week. Au revoir.
Bye.
Oh.